If you're like a lot of small business owners, you're very busy with your job, you kind of get Facebook and what it's all about, but you just don't get Twitter. If you fall into that bucket, don't worry. Your users get Twitter, you don't need to get it. You just need to be there and be actively promoting yourself and promoting your business and participating in the conversation. Now we're going to show you how to get set up on Twitter, but if you're like a lot of small business owners that just don't use Twitter that often, we're going to show you a way when we get again to that Hootsuite lecture in just a few lectures that will allow you to post to Twitter without really having to figure Twitter out. So let's get started and get you set up with a Twitter account. So the first thing you'll want to do is go to twitter.com and we're just going to get you to sign up. Now what you're going to do is if you don't already have an account specifically for your business, not a personal account, I want you to come over here and we're going to sign you up. Now where it says full name, you're going to sign up with your business name. Twitter, unlike Facebook, doesn't have a system where you can sign up under yourself and then create a separate page for your business. You actually have to create an entirely separate account for your business. So in my case, I'm going to set myself up as Toronto Pest Control. And you'll need the email address, so write in your business email address. In my case, I can't put Toronto Pest Control because I didn't actually register that domain. I've just been using it as an example. So I'm going to use my personal email address so that I can verify the account. And you'll get to a screen that looks like this. Hopefully everything looks in the green. If it's not in the green, then you can make any changes that you want so that it gets to green. Hopefully you get a name that makes sense. When it asks you to choose your username, this is the important one that you want to make sure is looking good. In my case, it says Toronto Pest Cont. So I don't really like that because it doesn't say control properly. But there is a limit to the length of the username. So I'm just going to change it to CNTL, which is a better control short form. When everything looks good, scroll down and click Create My Account. And that's it. Your account is now created. You'll need to go through and do a few things, so let's go ahead and do that. Twitter recommends that we start by following some people. So I'm going to search for some other local businesses that might be complementary to me, and they can even be your competitors. There's a great culture on Twitter that when somebody follows you, that you follow them back. Although not everybody does that, it certainly is a very prevalent culture. So I'm going to search here for some local Toronto businesses or Toronto news agencies, anything Toronto related, and then follow 5 of them, and then click Next. And it wants me to follow 5 more. They want you to start with a profile that is kind of mixed in with a few different things. So that's no problem. We'll follow a few different things. And then finally, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and click Skip. Now it wants us to upload a photo of ourselves and give a short description. So here you can use the same avatar image that you used for Facebook. So if you have that, click Upload and then upload the image. In my case, I'm going to just leave the image blank, and I will fill out a quick bio. And as soon as we finish that, we are pretty much done, but it's asking us to verify that our account exists. So that's why I needed that actual email address, because we have to go verify that. So I'll go and verify that in just a moment and come back. Okay, so I've just gone into my email and clicked the verification link that Twitter sent to me. And now my account is verified and it's all ready to go. Now with Twitter, you can set a background image to make your site look a little more customized, in addition to the profile image that you've already set for yourself. And if you want to do that, let's just quickly go into the profile. So if you click View My Profile page, this just shows what your page looks like right now. So I'm going to go to this gear icon near the top and select Edit Profile. And here we can change many of the different things about the page. So you'll definitely want to go in here. You should already have an avatar. You can change that header image, which is this black, currently this black background here. So you can have an avatar, a header image, and this cloud background. If I go back to Edit Profile, the cloud background would be something that I set up over in the design area. So you can choose a pre-made design or upload your own background. Now we'll just quickly go through each of these, make sure that everything looks like it should. You can set your time zone so that it shows up correctly. And don't forget to click Save Changes at the bottom. And every time you make a change to your settings, it wants you to re-verify your password so that somebody isn't just walking up to your computer when you walk away for a moment and making changes on your behalf. Again, focusing on the profile section of the setup, you want to make sure again that your name is correct. You can change your location. So in our case, we want to set it to the city that we're in since we're a local business. And be sure to put in the link to your website and you're good. I recommend not connecting to Facebook because what that's going to do is every time you post a Twitter post, which is called a tweet, every time you tweet something, it's going to automatically tweet it to your Facebook account too. Similarly, on Facebook, you can connect your Twitter account so that every time you write something on Facebook, it pushes it to Twitter. But we're going to avoid all of that connection, and we're going to do our posting all through Hootsuite eventually. So I recommend leaving that alone. So we'll click Save Changes. We can go again to the design. We saw this briefly where you can change the background. You can change various different colors of how your page looks. And that's it. So now when we click on our page, Toronto Pest Control, it should have now your avatar, it should have a background for your header, and it should have the background for the entire page that you've selected. And it says that we're following 10 people. Now, the best way to get word out about your Twitter profile is to just like a whole bunch of local businesses. And like I suggested, you're going to get a bunch of people that will just follow you back. What we're looking for here is to have a pretty good ratio of the number of people you're following to this number of people following you. What you want to not have is yourself following like 1,000 people and having 0 followers. But people will follow you back, and obviously people will follow you back more as you post interesting content using what we're about to show you. So if you're looking for people that you can first add and follow, and hopefully that they will follow you back, what you can do is go over to the @Connect section at the top, and this will give you some suggestions about who you can follow, but you can also just do some searches here as well. So if you just search for anything that is happening locally, the name of your city, the name of your industry, and so forth, you'll get a number of results here. And as you scroll through, you'll see some posts from people, you'll see various different things, and you can just click on follow when you want to follow one of them. If you click on people, this will get you a list of only people and not actual posts, and this makes it easier to just scroll through and follow a whole bunch of local-based things. So go ahead and do that. Follow many people. There is a limit to how many people you can follow in a short period of time, so don't go too crazy on that, but you could follow maybe 50 people and then try again tomorrow doing the same thing. Once you have a decent number of people that you are following, it's important that you start posting things immediately so that when people follow you back, they see that you have some interesting content. That's really the reason that people want to follow you. So to post content, we're just going to click on Home and composing a new post on Twitter. Again, those are called tweets. To compose a tweet, just click here and then you can attach an image or just write your tweet. Now again, on Twitter, the whole premise of it is that it used to be for, quick posts that people would write on their cell phone. So it's got a limit of 140 characters. So you can monitor as you're writing your tweet how much characters you have left. Now, we already talked about using hashtags with Facebook, and Twitter really are the people that started making hashtags really, really popular. So with Twitter, you should always end in some kind of a hashtag. You don't actually have to end it in a hashtag. The hashtags can appear anywhere in the post. So since I've already used the word Toronto in my post, I'm just going to put a £sign or a hash sign in front of it. And if I wanted to say pest control as well, maybe I could put pest control as one word and put a hashtag in front of that. And now anybody who searches for Toronto or searches for pest control, this tweet will be found for them. The way that Twitter works is based on the content of your post and heavily based on the hashtags that you use. Now the hashtags again can be any word, you can make one up, but it's a good idea to participate in a discussion that's already going on Twitter. So the way you find out about that is just by doing a little bit of guesswork research. So you go up to the search area and just type in something that you think might be an interesting topic that you can participate in, such as pest control or ant problems. So I did ant problems since we're focusing on pest control as an example, but Twitter thinks that we might have meant any problems. That's not quite what we wanted, so maybe ant problems is not the best way to go. We could try cockroaches. Okay, definitely some cockroach information here. So that's a hashtag that we could take advantage of. Right, so you could now go back to your home, and again, if I'm pest control, I could do a tweet something like this. Just eradicated a cockroach infestation, where cockroach is the hashtag. Now anybody who does a search for cockroaches is going to find that our tweet is in the list as well. Now you may find every once in a while that somebody sends you a direct message on Twitter and you're looking for how to find it. Direct messages are found under this gear icon under direct messages. So direct messages are kind of private tweets, almost like an email that you can send to somebody, but it still has that 140 character limit. So it's challenging to fit it in there sometimes, but people make it happen. Also, every once in a while, if you want to do what's called a shout out or a name drop to people, so if you're saying the Toronto Star just published an article about me, you use this @ sign. So you would say @Toronto Star as the handle or the name of this Twitter account, and that way you'll be kind of mentioning Toronto Star in your tweet. So at any time you can do that if you want. If you know the name of the handle that you want to use of the Twitter account, you can just start typing it in the new tweet with an @ symbol in front. Or more often than not, what you'll do is you'll just kind of do a quick search for something related, like cockroaches. And maybe you find something that, okay, I was just sitting in my bed and a cockroach appeared on my pillow. Okay, great. So now you can just reply to this. And what it does is Twitter automatically puts that at that person right there for you. And you can just, you can say, I know what you mean. Cockroaches are the worst. Try using this. And you can maybe give them some advice. You can try the education-based marketing that we talked about. Or if you want to try a more direct approach, you can say, give us a call, we'll hook you up. Now, Twitter is a little bit more of an active community, meaning that there's going to be more posts that are seemingly meaningless. So people will post more frequently, and because they're posting more frequently, not all of the messages are going to have a lot of meaning or content. As the joke goes, people post about what cereal they ate in the morning. So when you're making your post, I recommend making your posts have some value, have some meaning in them. And as we're going to see again when we get to the Hootsuite lecture, you may end up just cross-posting to Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn all at once the same message, so you don't have to rethink about things a whole bunch of times. Now, we talked about at the beginning of the Facebook lecture how big Facebook is compared to Twitter, but don't get blinded by what's called bigness bias, where you say, oh, Facebook is so much bigger, why should I even worry about Twitter? It's true that Facebook is much bigger, but Twitter is also huge, and you're going to ignore a gigantic segment of your target market if you try to overlook Twitter. So again, go ahead, get set up like we just showed you here, and make sure that you have a Twitter account. And again, once we get to that Hootsuite lecture, we're going to show you how to write a single social media post that you can send to all of your outlets all at once. One more word about something that comes up from time to time in social media, and this happens on both Facebook and Twitter and other social media outlets, and that is if you get into an argument with somebody online, which is also called a flame war, I just want to advise you to just not participate in that at all. Be polite in your online presence and be professional, because that's how people are going to view you. Also, from time to time, you may find that you get negative comments from people who have used your service or who have heard about your service or your product and are just saying things that are disparaging or negative or hold the business in not the kind of a light that you would like it to be held in. When this happens, you have a couple of options. Number one, especially on Facebook, if the comment is very offensive, if it involves swear words or completely inappropriate profanity or things of that nature, you can just delete the comment if it's on your page. So that's number one option. However, if the comment is not blatantly profane and is not that bad, and it's really just complaining about something that went wrong, either they're misinformed, they've made a mistake, or maybe they're addressing a real concern about your business, rather than deleting that comment, leave it there and comment back about it. Social media is an excellent way for you as a business owner to find out what the problems are with your customers in regards to your business. And it's also an excellent way to get some positive public relations, some PR, by handling negative and unsatisfied customers effectively. So when these negative comments come, try to work it out with them online. Do it in the public, because that's where they if they've posted their problem in public, you can try to work the problem out in public, or you can politely invite them to direct message you or invite them to get in contact with you so that you can handle their situation effectively. But make sure that you comment in a public forum that you're willing to work out the problem with them, because that will leave an excellent impression on all the people that see it.